One of the biggest things that struck me during our careers class was this idea of a career versus a calling versus a job. I was struck especially by the idea of the nurses who came into the nursing profession as a calling and kind of switched through the years as expectation hit reality. And I think a similar thing happens in the military. I would say in the beginning, pre-recruitment, recruitment, build-ups, kind of in this lane, you feel like you have this calling, you have a sense of duty, you're drawn to the honor, the pride, the professionalism that comes with wearing the cloth of our nation. You kind of have this big idea that you're going to go serve and serve the country. And then after training comes, now you're in the real fleet. And here you are in a huge bureaucratic organization. You're a very tiny cog in a very big system. And I would say you're about here. Things transition kind of from being a calling to being a career or maybe even a job. Day in, day out, you do your job, you do the best that you can, but you just feel like you're fighting sometimes against this huge organization. Then here, you kind of have your decision point. During the lieutenant junior grade, lieutenant years, I'd say a mid-junior officer, you have to make this decision. Am I going to stay in? Am I going to get out? Kind of in this 4 to 6 year range. It's arduous. You've probably deployed multiple times at that point. You've moved multiple times, permanent change of station. It's not an easy field to stay in. So now here comes your decision point. And I would argue that although you come in as a calling, it transitions to a career, the guys that end up staying in here, by the time you're maybe a field grade officer, the lieutenant junior grade major category, now it's a calling again. Now you realign your expectations. Now you know what to expect. It's not all about awards and uniforms and parades and Veterans Day, but now you know what you're getting into. You've realigned your expectations, and once again, it becomes a calling. You feel drawn to serve, you feel called to serve, and the tide swings the other way to where now you're once again in this calling position. The same thing happened to me in the beginning. I joined the military to serve a higher purpose after September 11th. Then reality hits, you're in the fleet. Oh God, this is hard. It's hard. It's a really hard profession. But now here I am back into the calling. I feel an obligation and responsibility to the next generation of naval officers and sailors that come behind me, and I've decided to stay in. Obviously, separating from the military is a great decision too, serve others in a different way. But I think in order to continue in the arduous industry that we have, you have to have a higher sense of calling and duty. So I would argue, through no substantiating evidence beyond my own feeling, you begin with a calling, transition to a career job, and then by staying in, you've gone back into the calling. So thank you for listening. That's my idea.